morning, my friends. This is Christy Show with Zeal Coaching, and you are on Coffee with Christy. This morning, I want to tell you about, we're going to talk about tenacity. So I know that sounds silly, but we all think, oh yeah, just show up, just do it, get it done. But tenacity can be more complex than that. And if you don't know, me, we do a lot of work with helping people find dreams and really kind of creating this. But that idea of tenacity, of sticking with it, of working through the hard stuff, sometimes really stops people in their tracks. So some people, when it gets hard or there's a setback, they'll say, oh, this isn't for me, or they're not used to kind of being resourceful and figuring out different ways to do it, and keep showing up and keep trying to determine how they're going to continue to do these things as they move forward. But that idea of tenacity is one that Amy Duckworth, who is a researcher, and she just wrote a popular book in the last few years called Grit. And this is actually what this book is all about. And she's done all this work on why some people are successful and some people aren't. And I love the context of it because she's basically saying it isn't about intelligence. Actually, for students that are very intelligent and school comes very easily for them, when they get to a place where they run into a challenge or an obstacle, they often don't have the tenacity or the grit or the perseverance to work through their issue. And if they don't have passion for the subject that they're working on, they're even less likely to kind of work through it and get through this hard stuff. Good morning, Jules. So good morning, Haley. So happy to have you both here. But to really think about this idea of grit as being, it doesn't matter about intelligence, it matters about it's sustaining effort for a goal. Now, there has to be some passion in that. And I think that's a critical point because we can just show up and we can keep doing things. But if you don't have passion, you don't really have that inner drive or that inner will to actually go after and make it happen. So there is some internal reflection about what you really want and what really turns you on and why, which is tons of stuff we work on in my office. But then also the action plan about how to get there, and the action plan about what to do when you kind of run into obstacles, because you will. And you'll get to the hard stuff and you won't know how to do it. And how do you get resourceful and get back in there and keep working on something to get it done? I have a really great client who owns a small business, and she is so great because when she first bought this business, it was she just had no idea how she was going to do it, right? She just had no idea, but she had this incredible desire to do it. And she just taught herself everything she needed to do along the line. And she's so proud of the different breakthroughs that she's had and the different things that she's taught herself to get this business successful and to sustain that success and to keep showing up every day. Now, does she get tired? Yes. Does she, think some days I can't do it? Yes. But does she keep showing up? Yes. I like to think about this in my own business too. So, if you don't know me, I was a camp director. The idea of I would ever have a business was just beyond kind of even my thought or my recognition. And as I began to realize how resourceful I was and the skills and the things that I wanted to offer the world weren't really packaged in any way that I could do it without doing it on my own. And so it really was okay, it's kind of like a dumb jump, right? You just jump and don't know what you're going to impact. But what happens is as you work through it, good morning, Mom. When you work through it, you embrace the opportunities. Yes, you're scared. Yes, you're going to be courageous. Yes, you go after it. But you still need to have that perseverance. So here's an interesting thing, though. Some people have a very structured personality. I've talked about this in many talks. People have heard me talk about this. Some people have a very structured personality. So the methodicalness and the planning and the things for them come easily, and they like the routine, and that is understandable. And so they're more likely to kind of keep showing up and doing the things. But what's interesting about that is they can get kind of stuck in the details and not having huge leaps forward, or stuck in a routine and not having huge leaps forward in something they're trying to accomplish and trying to do. There's other people who are more go with the flow and not like don't necessarily love structure, but they're more flexible and spontaneous. And those people are great because they are flexible and spontaneous and they can kind of go with the flow, but they will kind of get distracted and they like to relax a lot more. And so those people have a lot of challenges about sustaining and keep showing up when they would like to rest and when they would like to go play, literally, and not to work so hard. So it's interesting because we have these two different personality types or different styles that kind of plays into this tenacity aspect. The both of them is to have the core of a passion or the reason why they want any one specific goal or any one project that they're working on, because they have it, they want that and they want to do it for the world. So for me, this is so true. When I wrote my book, I really had to connect to who am I writing this for. Every time I sat down, I really had to think, who am I writing this for, and what person may I help, because and that motivated me to want to continue to sit down and write and work through this book. It's not a complex book, but it really took me a lot of energy to sit down and write it, and I had to keep showing up and had to keep working through the chapters or the sections and reorganize it and really think about how to do that hard stuff that wasn't really natural to me. Now I had some support, so this is another piece, is like, can you get somebody else that you want to work with who helps you stay consistent, who motivates you, who brings the parts and skill sets that you don't. And sometimes that really helps continue the tenacity. But this comes out of resourcefulness, of inviting people to help you along the way, whatever your goal is, that you don't have to do it all, that you don't have to be the only one, and that you can build your team of people that will help move you forward. And so that idea of tenacity doesn't have to be alone. It can be very much like with a group of people, or with people who are going to hold you accountable, or not even accountable, but make it fun and make it something you want to show up at. You know, tenacity is much better if you're having a good time doing it. It's much easier to show up if you're having a good time doing it. And so to utilize passion and play, and to utilize other people to get yourself into this place where you can continuously work on a goal that you're working on. So the last thing I really want to say is that really to connect to the feeling that you want, and to connect where you want to, like, every day is not going to be a win. So what is another feeling? So there will be days when there's a win. There will be days when you feel like, woo, I did that. But there are days when it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be, good morning, Dee, really, it's going to take some time and consistency and some things, and that's going to feel boring or treacherous or whatever. How do you bring the feeling that you want to feel? How do you bring the feeling that, like, play or fun or exploration or investigation, like, these are like really motivating things for people. Maybe it's about connection, maybe it's about something else. So really picking the feeling that gets you motivated and gets you back into that tenacious energy where you want to keep going. Now, some people are overly tenacious. We know them. They're driving so hard that they actually are striving, and that striving energy kind of eludes or sends people away from that success because they keep going for it. Now, this is a weird thing to think about. It's a different concept. We want tenaciousness, but we don't want overbearing. And so that overbearingness is just a kind of a fine line. And I think when people think of tenacity, they think of that overbearingness. Well, I think you're probably going to have to go pretty far to get to overbearing if you're not naturally tenacious. The people who are naturally tenacious they have to kind of monitor that line, because they will actually drive people away, or they need to surround themselves with other people who are really tenacious that help them get there. You know, because there's nothing worse than being a tenacious person and people feel like they're pulling you back. And so to think about What do you really need in order to get to the success that you want, and to continue that effort, and to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're connecting to your why and those feelings that you want to create. You've heard that it's the journey, not the destination, and it really is that. How much are you enjoying the journey? How much are you learning from the journey? How much character? How much, really that character being built out of working hard and learning what you're capable of and realizing that you're resourceful. So I really wanted you to think about this key skill of using this idea of being tenacious, keep showing up. It doesn't have to feel desperate. It doesn't have to feel, struggly, or it can be easy, and it can be just showing up, being there, getting in the mood to work, getting the feelings that you want, and then continuing to go after it. And that you can do hard things, that you can learn and do things that you didn't think that you could do. It's a wonderful day, and I'm so glad to meet and see you all this morning. I hope that you gain something out of these coffee talks. I love doing them, and I love to continue to do them. So please let me know what you think, and please send me some love and some hearts if you're watching. Give me some love. That helps me on my Facebook analytics or whatever, but that is really helpful to me. But in the comments today, please think of one feeling that helps you feel tenacious, one feeling that gets you to want to motivate yourself and make yourself continue to do and to persevere and to stick with it and all of that. Think about the things. Give me something that makes you tenacious and the feelings that help you get motivated to do that, to keep showing up every day. So thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up here today. And thank you for just being a great crowd of people that support and listen to me. And then also, if you need any help in career coaching, life coaching, and with small teams or leadership, I'm your girl. So again, have a fabulous day. Have a fabulous weekend. This is Christy Shell with Zeal Coaching. Thanks.